Hello everyone, my name is Kelly Hawk and this is my final project for INFM635 and my instructor was Dr. Vikraman Bhaskaran. Scenario background. John has breathing problems in the morning. He thinks that this will go away and attributes to the temperature change and weather. Unfortunately, the problem persists into the day and feels that he needs to consult with his family physician. John has two options. One, to call the physician office and book an appointment, or two, to go online and book appointment through the centralized appointments web application available to him. John gets the appointment for the next day, morning at 10 a.m. John gets to meet his family physician and explains his breathing problems. The physician could not confirm whether it is just due to a common cold, is it sinusitis, or asthma. The physician orders a chest x-ray and blood test for viral infection. In addition, the physician recommends John to visit the pulmonologist at the general hospital. John requests the physician's secretary to book an appointment with the pulmonologist on the same day. John arrives at the general hospital and meets the receptionist in the lung health specialist office and confirms his identity and the appointment for that evening. John meets the pulmonologist and describes his condition, and the pulmonologist pulls out John's historical health data and checks for any sign of chronic breathing problems. He also pulls a summary of the X-ray report and the blood results done on the same day. The pulmonologist orders a scratch test to find if John is allergic to pollens, pet dander, mold, etc. He also orders additional allergy blood tests for John. In this scenario, there were a few possible events that may have happened but were not mentioned. Consent forms were not mentioned. Was John a new or established patient? Patient registration nor updating of patient paperwork was mentioned. Why did the doctor rule out whether his condition was due to a common cold, sinusitis, or asthma? Were previous medical records sent to the clinic for the provider to justify this cause? What gave the pulmonologist reason to order allergy testing? Was there something in the X-ray report and the blood results that gave the pulmonologist reason to order scratch testing? UML use case. In the Unified Modeling Language, a use case diagram summarizes the details of the system's users, as in this case John, and the interactions he had during his process of getting treatment. The system uses a set of specialized symbols and connectors. It is a specific sequence of actions and interactions between actors and the system. Actors are users that interact with the system. An actor can be a person, an organization, or an outside system that interacts with the application or system. They must be external objects that produce or consume data. As you can see, use case diagrams do not go into a lot of detail. UML is the modeling toolkit used to build a diagram. Use cases are represented with a labeled oval shape. Stick figures represent actors in the process. John goes online to book the appointment. The receptionist locks the appointment in with the pulmonologist. And the actor's participation in the system is modeled with a line between the actor and use case. Doctor checks John's health history, orders scratch tests, etc. In this diagram, the scenarios coincide with people, nurses, receptionists, primary care doctors, pulmonologists, organizations, the doctor's office, general hospital, and external systems, x-rays, blood orders. The system shows how the actors and entities achieve the goal at hand. UML sequence diagram. This diagram shows more of a representation of details of a UML use case. It models the logic of a sophisticated procedure, function, or operation. You can see how objects and components interact with each other to complete a process. It helps plan and understand the detailed functionality of John's condition and his treatment process. This diagram is a type of interaction diagram. It describes how and in what order John's doctor's visits occurred and how the affiliates work together. My diagram shows how every step was taken and who was involved in John's care. UML activity diagram. Activity diagrams, along with use case, are considered behavior diagrams because they describe what must happen in the system being modeled. Stakeholders have many issues to manage, so it's important to communicate. Activity diagrams help give a visual development side of how the organization came together to understand the same process and behavior at hand for John's treatment. It more illustrates a business process or workflow between users in the system and how it simplifies and improves any process by clarifying complicated use cases. HL7 version 3 RMIM. I chose HL7 version 3 because it represents a new approach to clinical information. Its exchange is based on a model-driven methodology that produces messages and electronic documents expressed in XML syntax. The V3 specification is built around subject domains that provide storyboard descriptions, trigger events, interaction designs, domain object models derived from the RIM, hierarchical message descriptors, and a prose description of each element. It focuses on semantic interoperability by specifying that information be presented in a complete clinical context that assures that the sending and receiving systems share the meaning of the information being exchanged. It's designed for universal application so that the standards can have the broadest possible global impact and yet be adapted to meet local and regional requirements. It provides consistent representation of data laterally across the various HL7 domains of interest and longitudinally over time as new requirements arise and new fields of clinical endeavor are addressed. It allows implementers to take advantage at any point in time of the latest and most effective implementation technologies available, and it assures consistent development and the ability to store and manipulate the specifications in robust data repositories rather than as word processing documents.